Final thoughts. Black-eyed children, wrong uns.
Welcome to Hot Girl Stomps.
We've nailed it again, Gemma. We're just too good.
We didn't time that at all.
No, we absolutely didn't. Welcome back, Gemma. Episode 2.
Episode 2.
Oh my goodness.
No hot girls.
How are we here?
No stomping.
No stomping. Not today.
We're sat very stationary.
We are sat very stationary. Yeah, welcome back, everybody. Last week, if you listened to last week's episode, we had Gemma telling us all about the Hat Man. This week is my week to share one of my favourite stories, or one of my favourite, I suppose, paranormal tales or entities. I don't really know how to describe it.
What box is this going in, Cheri?
Well, Gemma doesn't know. I've kept this from Gemma, what the topic of this is going to be. So she's going to learn this and be very excited. Whereas, unfortunately for Gemma, I knew she was looking up the Hat Man. So I've been keeping her in the dark. So this episode, I am going to be going over something that has intrigued me for probably as long as I've known about it. Freaked me out a little bit, something I never ever want to encounter and thankfully never have so far in my paranormal career. And it's the black-eyed children. Do you know much about them?
I have. Our girl Emma on Real Life Ghost Stories has done an episode or two on the black-eyed children.
Shout out to the Real Life Ghost Stories. She's a better podcaster than us, God bless her soul. We love her.
I feel like any Irish person I could listen to an Irish person talking about dung beetles.
That's true.
And
she has a lovely voice.
Gorgeous.
I love her. So yeah, we're going to be talking about the black-eyed children. So I have been obsessed a little bit with this for a long time, and I don't know how much you know about this in terms of regions. We live very, very, very close. I'm not to give away where we are, but we live very close to probably the biggest hotspot in the UK for black-eyed children. We do. So Cannock Chase, so not far, maybe 40 minutes drive from us, somewhere I've driven through in the past. I went to do a ghost hunt on the outskirts of Cannock Chase, and had to drive back through at 4 o'clock in the morning, and the mist rolled in and I was crapping myself. I wasn't alone, thankfully. I had someone else in the car. That person was like, oh, it's like Silent Hill. And I was like, oh my God, my car's going to break down and the black-eyed children are going to come and get me. And I was like, just drive. Thankfully, the roads were dead. I was crapping myself. So yeah, Cannock Chase. So for those of you that maybe aren't aware of that particular region of the UK or don't know the UK very well, it is basically a region around a town called Cannock, which is covered in a lot of woodland. There's a lot of of paranormal stories around Cannock Chase. I think for a later episode, we can cover a little bit more of that. So there's a pigman. A pigman, yeah.
So America has Mothman and we have Pigman.
And he lives in Cannock Chase, supposedly.
I think I would rather... I'd rather take on the Mothman, I think.
Oh, Mothman can fly, though.
That's true.
I don't know what the Pigman can do. I don't know what he does to people. I haven't looked into it too much. It freaks me out a little bit. But there's also supposedly spirits of World War I and World War II soldiers. A lot of aliens, like lots and lots of UFO stuff within the Cannock Chase area. There is an old castle and lots of stuff that are related to the castle. It's not there anymore, but the mound is still there. And then you've got the black-eyed children. Specifically with Cannock Chase, it's the black-eyed child. However, I'm just kind of going to give you a bit of an idea about what the black-eyed children is, where it came from and whatnot, and then we'll kind of go into the Cannock Chase one a little bit more. So this is quite a new one. Similarly to your story with the Hat Man, only in the 1980s this goes back to, on record at least. But the first recorded with any kind of name or any kind of story behind it was 1996. So there was a journalist called Brian Bethel, I think his name was, if that's how you pronounce it. And it was in Abilene in Texas, so in the USA.
Yep.
And he was sat in his car. I think he was like kind of out in the sticks a little bit. He was sat in his car and these two young boys approached the car and asked for a ride. But what he noticed with them was, they brought with them this overwhelming sense of just danger and dread and fear. And they also had completely black eyes. So no whites of the eyes. The entire eyeball essentially was just a deep,
full grudge,
dark pit. Yeah,
nice,
creepy as hell. So I don't think that Brian let them in. I think he went, screw this.
That's valid.
Get the hell out of here, which is exactly what I would do. I would feel bad about it driving away, and I would probably call the police and say, there's some creepy ass kids out in the woods, but I ain't stopping, and I ain't letting them in my car. Sorry, children. Maybe I'd chuck like a blanket out for them or some food out the window
some
as
M&Ms
I drive
and
away.
Some cheese strings.
Here's some water.
Godspeed.
Yeah, you're on your own. But yeah, it's not something I think I would ever want to come across. So Brian's story kicked off kind of a phenomena of then people reporting the same thing. So whether, I suppose you can argue, did his story fuel mass hysteria and suddenly everybody is experiencing this, or did it just fuel lots of people coming forward and saying, hi, yeah, I've had the same experience, or I have seen something like this, or did he speak it into existence? Because that's another theory within the paranormal, is if you speak about something, it's like Freddy Krueger. We talked about him last episode. He's not going to come up every episode, but it just seems relevant. You know, the memory of him kept him alive and kept him able to, you know, exist. So is that how it works with some paranormal phenomena? Is it that these black-eyed children, because Brian was so vocal about it, suddenly people were thinking about it, and it's kind of speaking that paranormal entity into existence? I don't know.
Yeah.
So I was kind of doing some research. I wanted a little bit more info on kind of where they're more prominent, sort of what areas, how often, some more stories or sort of ideas about sort of what they do, who they are, how they operate. It does seem very US centric. Again, very Western. And I think this goes back to what we were talking about last time, in that, you know, do we have specific sort of myths and legends in our areas that are relevant to the kind of things that we would see,
we would experience?
Children.
And is energy are they tied down to places?
Potentially.
What are spirits out there listening? What are,
Come and talk
what
to
are your
us.
geographical laws? Like, can they not explore? Like, can they not go to China if they fancy it? Can they not, like, are they as tied as we are?
Potentially,
Who
don't know.
knows?
Maybe there's like, I don't know, demon holes or like spirit hole. I don't know, like portals almost, or like a centre of energy that fuels any kind of specific being, so they can't go much further past that. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, so with these black-eyed children, so although Brian's story was 2 boys, he specifically said they were 2 boys, most of them seem to be a boy and a girl. They're usually like young-ish children, so sort of like 7, 8 years old, around that kind of age range. They are pale. They come with an unsettling kind of vibe. So a lot of the stories that I've read, they don't immediately see their eyes, so it might be that they've got their heads kind of down, then maybe their hair covering their face a little bit. A lot of the time they're showing up at people's doors, so it's usually either a car, like they'll knock on the window of the car, or they're knocking on your front door. They are not tied down to out there in the sticks by any means. This can be as, you know, central city, downtown, busy location as ever. So they could just show up at the middle of the night and it's cold outside, and like you're going to think nothing of it when you answer the door to some kids shivering in the cold that they're looking down. So you might not necessarily originally see their eyes, but you immediately get this horrible feeling, this sense of dread from them that something isn't right. They will always ask one of 2 things, depending on whether they're knocking on your front door of your house or whether they're knocking on your car. They are either going to ask, can we come inside, or can you give us a ride? The really important thing that everybody has said is, do not say yes. Do not let them in your car.
I want stories of people who have.
Well,
if you have let these children into your home, what then happened?
Well, I've only really managed to find one, and I don't... The unfortunate thing with this story is I've got no credible kind of who the people were. Mm-hmm. All I know is there was a couple in Vermont, which is in the US, who did let a pair of these black-eyed children into the house, because a lot of people always ask this question, what happens if you let them inside? Most people go, absolutely bloody not, because of the feeling that exudes from them. Mm-hmm. They don't let them in, and it's almost as if something is screaming in your head, do not let them in. So most people don't. This unfortunate couple did. So essentially this couple, the wife answered the door, it was snowing outside, and there were these two children on the doorstep. They asked, can we come inside? They had their heads down, she couldn't see their eyes. Something said, oh my God, don't let them in, but they're two children. Mm-hmm. So she said, where are your parents? And they said, oh, they're coming to get us. Can we come inside? So they repeated it. So against her better judgment, she let them in. I mean, I think I'd have a hard time if I had two kids knock on my front door in the middle of nowhere, potentially, that it's snowing. I don't know if I could actually turn two children away. Yeah. At this point, maybe out in the sticks and I was with my car, I think I maybe wouldn't. But if I had someone else in the house with me and two kids showed up at my door,
you can maybe see why
I think I would let them in. Like, as a woman, but as a person, really, like, they're children. Yeah. So it's easy to see why people would say, okay, come on in. Maybe, I'll call the police or an ambulance or whoever to come and get you. But you probably would, come in from the cold. So that's what she did. So she sent them through into the living room where her husband was. She went into her husband, and her husband was like, hell is going on? Like, him immediately, yet again, getting this really horrible feeling. So she goes, I'm going to go make some hot drinks. Like, sit down, I'll get some blankets, I'll get you hot chocolate, hot cocoa, whatever. So she goes off into the kitchen. She comes back with the hot cocoa, and her husband is sat on the sofa with these two kids sat on the sofa opposite him. He's sat on the other sofa with his head in his hands. She says, are you okay? And he says, I've just got an absolutely splintering headache. And then the kids look up, and they've got these deep black, all pure black, eyes. So she says to her husband, oh my God, look at their eyes. So he looks up, and his nose is bleeding. And he then sees the kids, and he's like freaked out. So they kind of leave the room and go out into the hall, and they're like muttering with each other, like, what the hell is going on? Like, what is going on with you? Are you okay? What the hell's going on with their eyes? Like, they're muttering away, and the kids turn up in the corridor, like, can we use the bathroom? So she's like, yeah, okay, just go away, anywhere but near me, get down there. So she goes off again with her husband. She comes back, and the kids are then standing in the middle of the hallway. They haven't moved, they haven't gone to the bathroom like she said, but the front door is now open. Outside, there are two people dressed in black suits standing at the end of their driveway, just standing there staring.
So the black-eyed children are part one.
Part one. Now, who is the black-eyed men?
Who are these people?
Yeah, like they're dressed like the men in black, basically. They're wearing suits, and it's two men that are standing at the end of their drive, just staring at them. And eventually the kids just turn around, walk out, walk off with these two guys, and disappear off. After that, the woman and her husband start to have really horrible things happen in their house. So the husband ends up having to go to the hospital because he's in a lot of pain. Can't figure out what kind of pain it is. The hospital then diagnosed him with a really, really rare, like, horrible form of skin cancer that specifically you can only get from heavy use of a sunbed, which he has never used in his life. And then their animals start to pass away. So they had a cat in the house when the kids were in there, which was like immediately ran away from them. But their animals started to pass away in really strange ways. Like, they came home one day and one of their cats was like dead in a pool of its own blood. How does that happen? There was no injuries on it. It was just dead. And like disappearing, and all of this stuff started happening. They started having fires in the house, or things going wrong, power cuts all the time. All of this stuff started going wrong, and then eventually the husband died, and then eventually the woman died, all within like a year of this happening. So that's what happens when you let the children into the house. Yeah. So that has then led to a lot of theories of what are the black-eyed children. and why are they doing this?
Yeah.
So some of the theories are that they're aliens. Some of the theories are that they're vampires and that they are feeding off people's life forces. So in order to get close to you, because you know the whole vampires have to be invited in theory.
Okay.
Is this why they ask, can I come in?
Okay.
And you're told not to let them, because potentially there's some kind of vampiric sort of being that can kind of suck the life out of you if you let them in, which is why then the husband died and the wife died and the animals all started dying in the house and all of these horrible things started happening. So that's one sort of main theory for what they actually are. So no one really knows. No one's got any, there's not been any recorded sort of like actual footage or actual
so what you're telling me is, since the invention of CCTV, vampires had to be like, right, we need to change up how we're going about this.
Would you see them on CCTV? Because vampires, you can't see the reflections, so can they be caught on camera? I don't know. That's a whole other vampires episode.
Maybe now forensics have gotten too sophisticated, like all these bodies turning up with puncture marks to their necks. We've got to change up, guys.
They started calling it the Chupacabra's fault, but it's actually the black-eyed children.
Yeah.
But I did do a little bit of research into some stories of other people that have said, I have had a black-eyed children, experience, I suppose. So I'm going to read you a couple of them. This is word for word how these people have said them. So one of these was posted 8 years ago by a person called Hannah. And she is I remember when I was about 6 or 7, we lived in the middle of nowhere. My mum never really taught me never open doors for strangers. No one ever knocked on our door unless it was family. I was always very careful. So one day in fall, there was a soft knock at the door, which I thought was a stray cat, because they usually end up at our door. I opened it and there was one girl standing there. Before I opened my mouth, another child appeared and it was a boy. They stood side by side. I asked who they were. They didn't respond. I went to shut the door and then they asked, may we come inside? Me, the little child I was, said, no, but I can ask my mum if I can come and play outside. Then I shut the door, told her about it, and she told me not to open the door again and not to go outside. One story. The second story is my friend had an experience with them while I was at her house. This is from 5 years ago. So it says she was sitting in the living room listening to music that she put on the television. I was in the kitchen cooking something for us. Her parents were out of town and I was staying with her. There was a loud knock on the door. I came out of the kitchen and walked up to the door as she was a couple years younger than me and not that smart at the time. No offence to her. But there were 2 children there, standing there. They looked around the same age as my younger siblings, but they had black eyes. They asked me if I could use a cell phone, so if they could use a cell phone, so I offered to slide the home phone through the mail slot. They said they had to come in. We both had an uneasy feeling and her dog refused to step near the door. Her cat was on the bookshelf letting out a low growl, which was not like her at all. My friend and I ended up sitting back down and turned the volume up on the TV, trying to ignore the knocking that kept on for 15 minutes. A year after that, I ended up finding out about the black-eyed children. Today, as I post this, is 2 years to the anniversary of that happening. So that's 2 experiences of people that have posted just on one person's story that they posted, and 2 other people have responded. The last one, I think, is a bit of a funny one, which could be an actual explanation for what's going on. Mm-hmm. So this one was posted by someone called Bloody Mary, and it was 3 years ago. As a teenager in 2001, I got into a car wreck. I ended up getting an eyeball fracture. This causes a either 8-ball or eyeball, I'm not sure what that's supposed to say, but it says this causes a blood vessel to break behind your eye and makes the whites of your eyes look a very dark red. I have dark brown irises. In low light, it looked like my eyes were completely black. I had to go to the optometrist in another town, so my mum and I got a hotel room since I had to be there early. Later that night, my mum realised she left her makeup bag in the car, so I went to get it for her. When I walked back to the room, I realised I'd forgotten my key card. I went to the receptionist desk and said, can you please let me in? The receptionist turned pale and white. Before I could tell him my name or room number, he went into the back room and locked the door. I told my mum what had happened. She said she probably thought I was a black-eyed child. I'm sure he probably on some paranormal forum telling a story about me somewhere now. I think that's a really good, example of something that can actually legitimately happen that could be perceived as being a black-eyed child experience.
That's a lot of kids having
a lot of kids having an eyeball
medical
fracture.
diagnosis, though.
I do agree with that, but it's an explanation. Dr. Kieran O'Keefe would love that explanation. I just think it's really interesting. So it is mainly America, especially the Midwest. Midwest, I think Appalachia and all of those kind of places as well, they just have so many creepy things that go on. It is not just the US though. Obviously the UK, as I've mentioned with Cannock Chase, Australia and Canada also have stories of black-eyed children. Not very many other places. So again, I don't know whether this is cultural, Native American culture have the skinwalkers and things like that, whether Western culture just happens to have hatmen and black-eyed children, I don't know. But with the Cannock Chase one, so that story came from supposedly a murder of a child within that wooded sort of area in the 1960s. It's actually only one child, and it's a girl. She seems to act differently to other black-eyed children stories, so it makes me wonder whether she really is part of this phenomenon or not. But the Cannock Chase area is hugely famous for the black-eyed children story. She follows people around giggling, tugging on clothes, things like that, but because she's within this kind of outside area, where is she trying to get into? There's nowhere for her to be knocking on doors to try and get into and stuff like that. So it's a bit of a weird one for me. I don't really know whether she really is a black-eyed child story. Obviously people have said that they've seen her and that she's got all black eyes. I don't know. But this then moves on to a pub within the it's right on the outskirts of the Cannock Chase. It's called the Four Crosses. You can go and do overnight ghost hunts there and stuff like that. That might be one for me and you to go and do. Yay! But it is the Four Crosses pub has kind of made its name on being connected to the black-eyed children story within Cannock Chase. It has its own other ghosts as well, but I don't know too much. There's not a lot of information about why she's connected to the Four Crosses. They just claim that they are connected with the black-eyed children story. So that might be one for me and you to go to and maybe do a bit of our own personal
Yes, I would love
research.
To go stay where a black-eyed girl pulls on my clothes and giggles behind my back. I would relish that opportunity.
And she can come home with us. People have said that they have seen black-eyed children in the back of their cars before, which is a phenomenon that absolutely terrifies me. Oh, the idea of looking in my rearview mirror and seeing someone in the back seat, I would pass away. I'd actually crash the car and die, I think, genuinely.
My husband, who is our producer
Lewis,
he thinks this is all absolute nonsense. He is not scared easy. He would go on any ghost tour with you. He would legit go on any, because he's just not.
I would love to test him.
We'll
him in a basement,
we'll
with no torch, and to see how brave he actually is.
Yeah.
With a black-eyed child.
But yes, one instance. So he'd taken our dog for a walk, and anyone whose car has the reverse cameras knows.
Oh my god.
It was his own reflection. Spoiler. He'd opened the boot to put the dog in, and he was in wellies because it was down the woods. Got back into the car, turned the car on, and for some reason it was some kind of like electrical glitch.
Delay.
The main screen just came up. Or did he put it into reverse? I think he put it into reverse, and obviously the cameras come on. For some reason, just for literally, he said it must have been like 2 seconds, it flashed onto obviously what it had been picking up on when he was previously at the back of the car. So we turned the car on and just saw these 2 pairs of legs. Not 2 pairs, 2 legs, because that would be 4 legs. Also weird. Just 2 legs, his own 2 legs in the reverse camera screen, just stood at the back of the car. And he even said, like,
for a moment there,
because it was the common, like, at night, and no one else was there. So he was like, my stomach did fall through my arse in that particular moment.
See, this is what interests me when people say, I don't believe in ghosts, but then they get spooked. If you genuinely didn't believe in ghosts, nothing in your brain would go, what is that? Is it a ghost? For that split second. Somewhere in your subconscious, you believe. I genuinely think that.
I think he was more worried a genuine dude was stood far too close to the car in the woods at night. Also valid.
I think we can test him.
Ghosts and men.
I think we throw him into a paranormal situation and we see how he fares. Sorry, producer Lewis, when you're listening back to this editing. we've got plans for you.
We have plans for you, sir. But no, I think what like I say, I have heard of the black-eyed children, and I think I'll sort of echo what's already really been said. The most unnerving thing, whatever that is, it's not actual children.
Oh, I believe
so
that.
So why
fully.
are you masquerading as children?
Yeah. But that's so common, though.
And it's to appeal.
I think it's
like with vampires, we're attractive.
People, yeah.
It's to trap you. For what?
Oh, well, I think they know. Like I was saying at the start, like, could I really leave 2 children outside in the cold? Like,
yeah.
Would I, as a person, as a human being with empathy, would I actually leave them out there? If that was, you know, a spirit that was masquerading as a grown-ass adult, I would probably be like, they're probably going to be okay.
Yeah.
But children, you feel like you have to take care of. You are more likely to let your guard down. And a lot of different types of spirits or paranormal entities or beings mimic children, and I think it's for that reason, because it does lower your guard and it makes you want to bring them nearer to you, which is kind of how they get you. And that is horrible. But why have they got black eyes?
But yeah, I was just gonna say, so
no souls, I guess.
Yeah.
Because they say that you are, you know, the eyes are the
window to the
soul. So,
or whatever's inhabiting that image of a child is so abhorrent and so evil, it can't fully mimic. Abhorrent. It can't fully
do the change.
Take on the image of a child. Something has to be off.
Like a ditto.
That's something is just slightly off.
Yeah. The ditto can mimic things, and then I think, is it ditto or Mimikyu in Pokemon? But its eyes don't change.
Yeah.
It can look like Pikachu, but it's still got ditto eyes.
Yeah.
That's it. You've nailed
Whatever it is. But then what has that been born from?
Yeah.
Where has it come from? Something so does it just come from sites where, did you say a lot of World War II stuff happened in Cannock Chase?
Well, there is a I can't remember if it was World War I or World War II, but there is a military graveyard within the Cannock Chase area, which I would assume is kind of where that presence comes from. But there's also so much UFO stuff. There are like sonic blasts that have been reported out in the woods. There is all sorts. My Haunted Road Trip very recently, you know, our lovely guys up in Chester that own the My Haunted Project.
Lads. We do know our northern lads.
Shout out to My Haunted Project if you guys don't know and don't follow My Haunted Project.
My Haunted Project is grassroots British ghost hunting.
We love them. They, on their last episode, at the time of recording this, on their last episode of the road trip, they went to Cannock Chase. In true Danny and Harry fashion, they pissed about, so I don't think they really gave themselves a chance to see a black-eyed child all that much, because they were messing around. But they did go there, and they did kind of touch on, you know, some of the different entities that can be found there. And I think you know, 3 grown-ass men were pretty freaked out being out there. For me, in the comfort of my car, just driving through the chase, I was shitting myself. There is just something about that whole region. It's not a massive woodland. Like, you could get lost in there, but it's not like America where if you're lost in the woods, you are screwed. Yeah. This is like, there are main roads running through the woodland. Like, you can find your way to somewhere. Yeah. There are towns in the area and pubs and all sorts. But it's still, you know, it's dense woodland at certain areas. Whether that's a psychological effect of that a little bit that kind of feeds into that. But it's unusual to have so many different types of paranormal that come up in one location. Yeah. And they're so prevalent. Yeah. And there are teams, like, I used to know a paranormal team who all they do is the chase. Their focus is researching the phenomena that happens in the chase. That's how much there is that goes on there, that they can dedicate their entire paranormal career to what is going on at Cannock Chase. Yeah. And why Cannock Chase? It's very central, it's very Midlands, but what is it with that land that is pulling all of this stuff
all of this energy? Yeah.
But it's very odd.
Because it's like you said about Appalachia. I mean, you know, I'm using that word again.
Abhorrent.
What's another word for abhorrent?
Good question.
Dreadful.
Dreadful,
Dreadful.
horrific, terrifying,
Yeah. All of the above.
Garish.
You know, American soil, how it was founded.
I mean, well, Appalachia used to be connected to Europe. I can't remember, is it Scotland? I think the Appalachian Mountains in America and the Highlands of Scotland, the mountains were once one.
Yeah.
And then obviously gradually the world's... I mean, God, the
So
Highlands have got a lot.
We're literally starting to get into before the tectonic plates moved.
Yes, literally. That's how ancient some of this stuff is.
Yeah.
But freaky. And that's our timer again.
Maybe we should keep the timer in the podcast.
Maybe we should. That's when
you guys might just have to accept that we have to work on a timer.
We know that we are too ADHD to be doing a podcast in reality. We just talk.
And we know you don't want to be listening for 2 hours. Maybe you do. Maybe...
Tell us if you want longer episodes.
If you want a longer format, let us know.
But yeah, so, I don't know. What are your final thoughts on the black-eyed children? I hate them with a passion.
Yeah.
I'd never want to see one.
Oh no, absolutely
not.
I
would love to see a ghost. I say I'd love to see a ghost. I would crap. But
at the same time, you'd feel like,
see one accomplished. Although I think I have seen one, but that's for another time. I've seen other things. I think I'd even take some of the other creepy things I've seen over... See, I don't know how I'd cope. I don't do very well with creepy kids in horror films, you know, like The Orphan and Damien from... The Omen, name for me. Not like
no
for me.
Thanks.
What are your thoughts?
I think you're right. I think just something dark.
Wrong about them.
Wrong-uns.
Yeah, wrong-uns. There you go.
Wrong-uns.
That's it.
Kick them to the curb.
Final thoughts. Black-eyed children. Wrong-uns.
Wrong-uns.
Well,
but have you guys had any experiences with black-eyed children? Either in your cars or outside of your cars.
Oh, God.
And
for your
if you
sake,
have,
I hope
are
not.
you okay?
Yeah, I hope not. I hope
are you
haven't.
okay?
God, no. Anyway, you can find us. Come and talk to us. We are on Instagram and TikTok and the YouTubes and all of these places. It's /Hot Girl Stomps. You can find our link tree to find access to how you can email us with your stories and with your, comments on the things that we discuss. If we've got something wrong, by all means, tell us.
I am so happy to be called out. You don't understand.
Yeah. The whole point of this podcast, we want to learn, we want to understand, we want to know what is going on, because what the hell is going on? Why are there black-eyed children, Gemma?
Why?
Tell us, please. Someone out there, tell us
why.
Follow us. We are posting regularly, is all I'll say for now. We've not quite figured out our timings yet, but we'll have new paranormal topics for you each week, and we will see you the next time.
See you on the next one.
Bye.